friends, welcome back to the avocado toast budget. If you're new here, my name is Lexa, and today we are diving into the world of frugality. Now, before you click off, you know me, if you've been here before, you know that at the ATB I am all about putting your money toward what matters to you and not having to cut back on all of the extras in life, not having to just eat beans and rice and be sad in order to reach your financial goals. So this is not going to be the typical frugal video where I am just giving you tips about like rinsing out plastic bags all of the time, hang, line drying your clothes, going out to the pond in the backyard to fish rather than like buying anything from the grocery store or anything like that that I have no want to do, and I definitely have no desire or time to do those things. These are going to be 5 realistic and effective frugal life hacks that you can actually start implementing today. Number 1, buy used whenever possible. Look, I used to be a strong believer that it was worth investing in new things because that meant that they were top quality. You wouldn't have to worry about like them breaking or them already having something wrong with it by the time you received the item. And I really thought that paying top dollar for items meant that I was getting the most out of my money. And as I have matured into the amazing 25-year-old that I am, I have realized that that's not necessarily the case for the majority of items. There are so many resources available to you to buy quality used items that are basically brand new but cost a lot less money. Pretty much like 90–95% of the things that I have bought used, once it's home and out of the box, you literally can't tell the difference between that and a new item that you've taken home and taken out of the box. 2 apps that are really good for this that I have personally used are Poshmark and Mercari. eBay is really good for it, as well as Facebook Marketplace if it's something that's a lot easier for you to just pick up from someone who lives close to you. Even Apple has like a little section at the bottom of their website called Refurbished and Clearance. That is the only place I look for any Apple products. I honestly would not have even known it was there or known to look for it if it weren't for my dad, who had shown it to me whenever I was in high school looking to buy my first laptop. But I am so glad that he did, because I have owned a lot of Apple products throughout my life. I am all about Apple. I've got my phone right here. I have my laptop sitting next to me. I have an Apple Watch. I've had like all the generations of iPods, and every single one of those things that I've bought, I have bought off of the clearance and refurbished section of the Apple Store. Used does not have to mean that it is completely worn down. Oftentimes people buy things, they use it once, they throw it in their closet, and they literally never use it, but it is still considered used, and you can save a ton of money on that product. And this is one of my favorite tips because it doesn't involve you needing to not buy something. I feel like a lot of things about being frugal are about completely cutting back on things or taking huge steps that are total time wasters to save you like a buck or two, and it ends up like not being worth your time or energy, or you end up giving up all of the things that you love. This tip does not require either one of those things. It can be just as easy, if not sometimes easier, to buy something that is used than to buy something that's brand new. Number 2, avoid lifestyle inflation. This has been one of the biggest money savers for me and Liz. I have talked about lifestyle inflation on my videos before, but basically lifestyle inflation is just what happens most of the time when we end up increasing our income and therefore increase our standard cost of living. We get a raise, so we justify a bigger apartment or a bigger mortgage. We get a better job, we move up in our career and get a promotion, so we get a new car. We start eating out more, or we take bigger, more lavish vacations. And a lot of times it's like smaller steps that we don't even really notice until we've looked back and realized how much our standard of living has changed. You know, when you're like thinking back to college about all of those times that like you lived with 6 other people in a really small apartment and had to like walk across the street in the snow to go to the laundromat to wash all of your clothes, and you basically lived off ramen noodles and $40 for the whole month of groceries, and you look back at it and think, oh my god, how did I survive? There is no way I could live like that. That is because you've inflated your lifestyle, and that's not necessarily a bad thing inherently. Of course, there are things that we can upgrade in our life that bring us a lot of value, but a lot of times lifestyle inflation happens without us even noticing, and we end up spending a lot more money on things that don't actually bring the value to our life that we think that they're going to. So what happens is you might be making $20,000 more a year, but you're also spending $20,000 more, and that is what leads you to constantly feel like you are living in this paycheck to paycheck cycle, never able to save any money, and you don't understand why. It is because your standard cost of living has continued to rise as your income has as well. So avoiding lifestyle inflation whenever possible and practical is such a good tip for staying frugal, knowing what the value of your money really brings to your life, and making sure that you can start increasing that gap between your income and your spending. Tip number 3, sell those things that you don't use anymore. You know how I was just talking about Poshmark and Mercari and Facebook Marketplace? All of those people are people who are selling the things that they don't use anymore. Of course, there are resellers, people who like go thrifting to resell items for a lot more than they bought them, and that's a totally different thing. What I am talking about is taking advantage of the fact that you have things around you that are not bringing value to your life, that are not bringing joy to your space, that can make you money. Of course, there are going to be those items that aren't worth selling. It would be much better to just donate them, but a lot of times the things in our house hold a lot of value. About a year and a half ago, I decided that our space was getting way too cluttered and I wanted to sell off some of the things that we had, mainly like home decorations and my clothes and shoes. I ended up selling $2,000 worth of things on Poshmark and Mercari. And again, we live in a very tiny 1-bedroom apartment, so it's not like I had a ton of stuff to begin with. There's only so much stuff you can fit in here. But a lot of these things were just sitting in my closet, sitting in drawers, not being used. And when I was able to sell them to make money, I was able to put that money toward paying off my credit card debt, which added so much value to my life. Plus, on top of that, there have been a lot of studies that have shown that the less that you have in your space, the less cluttered it is, the more organized your space is, the less you actually want to buy more things. It sounds kind of like counterintuitive, but when our space is already cluttered, our mind feels like it's not complete. So we think if we just add the next right thing, then it'll be a complete space, but then that ends up not happening and we just kind of add on to the clutter. So I found that once I cleared out a lot of that stuff, I haven't actually gone back and like refilled it back up. Instead, I have focused on only replenishing those things that truly brought value to my life when it was time for me to get replacements for them. Number 4, take advantage of the free things that are available to you. There are so many amazing resources that give you tons of stuff for free. If you've been here at all, especially if you have followed me on Instagram and you watch my Instagram stories, you know I love free trials. And I know, before you say anything, I know the whole point of a free trial is that they end up making more money because people forget to cancel their free trials. But tip about that, I always set multiple Google Calendar reminders letting me know the days leading up to when I need to cancel that subscription that I need to do that. And I make it my plan that if I get that notification, I either set a new notification to make sure it goes off again if I can't go about canceling that subscription right at that moment, or I stop what I'm doing and go and cancel that trial. That way I don't get charged for it. One of my favorite ones going on right now that I really always recommend to you all is that Panera is offering free coffee for 3 months. You get a free iced coffee or tea or hot coffee once a day. It is really awesome. Let's be honest here, Panera's coffee isn't like the best coffee ever, but hey, it's free. If you have a Panera close by, why not take advantage of that? I truly believe that being effectively frugal is all about cutting back on spending on those things that you don't really care about. That way you can make room to spend more money and to splurge on those things that do bring a lot of value to your life. And if you know me, I love my iced coffee, but hey, if I can get easy iced coffee for free, I am all for that. And then those times that I do want to go and splurge on Dunkin' or Starbucks, I don't have to feel bad about it because I'm saving money by not drinking iced coffee at home and I'm getting iced coffee for free. And of course, Panera is not the only example of this. There are tons of companies that offer free trials. Just make sure that you are giving yourself lots of reminders to cancel that way you don't get charged. I also really recommend that you check out the other free resources that are available to you, like cashback apps. I have all of my favorite money saving and cashback apps linked down below in the description box. That is always there. It is also always in the bios of all of my social media because I am all for getting some free money without having to do much work. One of my favorite ones, if you're looking for like a cashback app that is completely hands-off, is Dosh. You literally just put in your card information and then you go on your way. If you happen to spend money at somewhere that partners with Dosh, with that card, they automatically give you your cash back. You don't have to go on the app ahead of time. You don't have to go on the app afterward. It will just kind of like add up, which is a really awesome surprise when you click on the app every once in a while and realize that you have made some free money by literally not doing anything else. I also really encourage people, if you are looking for ways to be frugal and cut back, to look at the free local resources that are offered to you, whether that are free local events or especially your local library. I love libraries. I used to go to the library like every single day during high school to sit down and study and do my homework. I truly value local libraries, and they have so many amazing resources outside of just books. Some of them will do laptop or iPad rentals. A lot of them have a program where you can listen to audiobooks for free. If you have a library card, you can also use Libby to listen to audiobooks for free, which is another amazing free resource. I'll also link that down below. Another bonus free resource, if you happen to have T-Mobile like we do currently right now, we're looking into switching, but T-Mobile does offer like some really cool free things. You get Netflix for free, and then every Tuesday they do like these deals that come out. A lot of times they have like free tacos or like little discounts on things. So if you were already planning on spending your money at one of those places, you might as well save a little bit. Just doing a little bit of research to find out about the free things that are available to you can save you tons of money and really help you to be frugal. If you're not really sure how to go about finding like the free local resources, I definitely recommend going onto Facebook, typing in like your city name or your county and seeing if there is a buy nothing group. A lot of times these groups are just groups of people who want to go on there and either trade items, or if anyone has items that they are donating, they'll post them on there first. And this is a great way to get your hands on items that you would have paid for anyway, and now you get them for free. I really love buy nothing groups, so definitely check out, see if your surrounding area has one of those, because a lot of times they do. Number 5, only replace what is truly necessary. I feel like this is like one of the pillars of being frugal, but I think that it is a really important skill to have and something to continue practicing throughout your life. I know for me, I got really caught up in the hype of like buying new things and replacing things before it was technically time that they needed replacing. One of the very common traps that I definitely fell into was cycling through new iPhones. Up until my last iPhone, I would get a new one every single year. I was on that plan that like let you upgrade every year because I thought that the new, the best was really necessary. And let's all be honest here, they pretty much all do the exact same thing, especially now. I feel like the older generations of iPhones, they did have big changes, but now really, what is there to change? Rather than replacing my iPhone every year, I started just replacing it whenever it finally actually broke and it wasn't worth fixing. And I saved so much money doing that. Another thing that I often bought way more of than I needed was makeup. If you have watched some of my other videos, you might have heard me mention that I had a little stint as a YouTuber and I was really into the beauty community here on YouTube, and that caused so much overconsumption. I was truly convinced that I needed that newest eyeshadow palette. I needed that newest foundation. It was going to be absolutely life-changing. And when I got out of the cycle of watching those YouTube videos a lot, I took a step back, looked at my makeup, and realized, A, there was no way I was going to actually take advantage of all of the makeup that I had. I had like 8 drawers filled to the brim with makeup. I was never going to use all that lipstick or that foundation or those eyeshadow palettes. Now I have some core makeup that I use every single day, a couple eyeshadow palettes, or like a foundation that maybe I don't wear every day, but it's for special occasions, or those times that I want to look extra done up, and I don't miss any of those extra things at all. In fact, I enjoy my makeup more now because I really feel like I get the full use out of it, rather than stressing out that I was only using an eyeshadow palette once that I paid like $50 for. And let's all be honest here, after like the 4th eyeshadow palette, they all pretty much do the exact same thing. Learning to wait to replace things until it is truly time for you to get an upgrade is such a good way for you to save and cut back on those things that you don't really need. That way you can put your money toward the things that you really actually value. So that is it for my top 5 frugal tips that actually work and are actually effective that you can start implementing today. I really hope that you enjoyed this and you learned something cool. If you did, please remember to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, helps boost this video to the top. That way more people can find this content. And I will see you all next time. Bye.